What's up, guys?
Where it was and all that, but now that you're here, you've had a chance to look around. What's your initial impression of Fight Island?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything that I knew it would be. My question is, what's your impression of Fight Island? I mean, nobody does things like Abu Dhabi does. I mean, we're here leading up to this event, to this tomorrow. There's been 8,000 tests. 8,000 tests leading up to this fight. I mean, nobody's doing anything like that. We had planes fly in from 4 different hubs, 2 out of Vegas, 1 out of Brazil, London, Moscow, to get all these fighters here. I don't know about your flight over here, but mine was awesome, incredible. I mean, the whole experience has been amazing. Quarantine isn't too fun, but we knew that before we got here. We've been doing that for a few months, so that's never going to be fun, but this isn't a bad place to do it either. So,
not at all. Almost lost the main event, of course. You guys had to scramble, put it together. I want to just talk about when Gilbert fell out. I mean, what was your initial reaction, your feeling? I mean, this virus is impacting everything in your business, and it nearly stole a main event at the last moment. So when you hear that, my guy's positive for COVID-19, what's the thought that goes through your head?
I mean, it's what we've always done and what we always do, what we've done through this madness we're going through right now in the world. We figure it out. There's a solution to every problem, and we figure it out. It's what we do.
You pulled the rabbit out of the hat with Masvidal. How difficult was that process? Because he had been very vocal going in. They're not paying me enough. I'm not getting what I want. So how hard was it to get something worked out that quickly? And what had to be done to make it happen?
Masvidal was brilliant to take this fight. Brilliant. Gilbert Burns, the #1 contender. Gilbert Burns stylistically against Usman in his incredible fight. And, when the fight fell out, Masvidal slid into that spot. And, I was just telling those guys, I just left the fighter meeting. This thing is trending off the charts. This thing is trending higher than a Conor McGregor fight. The only thing that this fight is comparable to is Conor Khabib. Let me put it to you this way. I'll give you an interesting stat. Our UFC store, we've sold more merchandise already now than we did in all of 2019. We already beat 2019 with merchandise. It's just, this thing is trending as big as a fight as I've ever seen in my entire career.
And I know the Fight Island thing has got people curious. I mean, that's a big part of it. But obviously, I think when Masvidal stepped in, that bumped it up as well.
There were a ton of things that made this fight big, yeah.
Can you say where you and Masvidal at as far as your relationship? I mean, is it strained? Or
Could I say what?
Where you and Masvidal, your relationship, would you consider it strained or yes?
Guys, you're acting like this just started. This has been going on for 20 years, and it'll go on for another 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's part of the business. Never going to go away, never going to change, never going to be different. We're never going to have a scenario where you guys are going, holy shit, Jim Johnson thinks you're overpaying him. He thinks he's making way too much money for this fight. We're never going to have that conversation, ever.
Fair enough. I wanted to ask you about Gilbert Burns. I mean, obviously he's got to get back to full health, but in your eyes, does he get to walk back into a title shot next time he fights?
He's the #1 contender. He's the #1 ranked guy in the world. Yeah, he's the #1 guy in the world. Kid's hungry. He wants to fight. He wants to be a world champion, and he's #1. Yeah, that puts him in a pretty good spot.
Fair enough. And then last thing for me, I wanted to ask you about Mike Perry. We've all seen the clip at this point. You guys came out, made a pretty strong statement, said, hey, we expect some change from this guy. You don't normally take steps like that. So I wanted to ask you, what led you to make the steps that you took and to react that quickly?
Usually don't take steps like what?
To tell the guy, hey, listen, we're not going to offer you any fights right now. We expect you to seek out this type of counseling. I don't know that we've seen a lot of statements like that over the years.
We have. Well, we might not have made a statement, but we've had some guys do some counseling. I mean, I saw this coming in the last several months with Mike Perry. I mean, all you have to do is watch his interviews, watch the way that he's interacted with you guys. He literally said in an interview leading up to his last fight, I hate all of you. I hate the media, I hate the fans. You guys want to say stuff to me on Twitter, then walk up to my face and try to be nice to me. I'm telling you, don't walk up to me when you see me in the streets. Don't touch me and don't say hi to me. He said that leading up to that last fight. He is a man of his word, apparently, and here we are today. He obviously needs some help. That's not normal behavior. He's gotten a lot more angry and agitated in the last, but you see this happen with guys and girls when they start to get a little bit of fame and they start to get famous. And, I have a blast on social media. You see a lot of people that don't have fun on social media. You see people, there's some horrible things that have happened to people in dealing with social media, and everybody deals with it differently. I love criticism. I love, whatever you want to call it that goes on social media between media, fans, and all that stuff. I'm just built that way. He is definitely not built that way, and he's definitely a guy that should probably stay off social media and, needs to make a few changes in his life, and we're going to do everything we can to help him.
Hey, Dana. The UFC's achieved a lot in the time you've been on top of it. Where do you rank Fight Island in terms of achievements that your company's done?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but going into today, this is one of the most successful events we've ever done. If you look at the numbers and what's going on, it's got to deliver tomorrow now. So, but ask me that question again at the press conference.
All right, will do. I know you said there's a lot of factors going into this. How much would you say the branding of Fight Island is behind the interest in this card?
When you build a fight, a huge melting pot of, different ingredients you put in for the thing to be really successful. And Fight Island is a big part of that.
So going off that, if you compare this to a Conor McGregor fight...
And the fact that we're doing right now what nobody else can do. Nobody else can do what we're doing. Nobody else is pulling off what we're pulling off. And I think a lot of people are fascinated by that.
So say this fight is as big as a Conor McGregor fight, and you were mentioning the other day you could see him unretire depending on results of stuff. With a victory on Saturday, could Jorge Masvidal, Conor McGregor be the biggest fight the UFC could put on?
Yeah, it could be.
Any interest in that, if you could?
What's the question?
Would you be interested in doing a McGregor-Masvidal fight?
Oh, McGregor, I don't know. I want to get through tomorrow. Okay. I can't wait for tomorrow to be over. And for those of you that have been covering this sport for a long time, how difficult this sport is to run and manage. And, we're over here dealing with all the things that we're dealing with over here. You got Mike Perry, you got, all the things that happen, not to mention the shit that's happening over here. Now you add in this COVID-19, quarantine, if one guy tests positive, all hell breaks loose. It's a whole different animal. I want tomorrow in my back pocket. I want to get this thing over with and move on to Wednesday. Then I want to move on to Saturday. And I feel like when we were in Jacksonville, like when we first got to Jacksonville, and it's that same kind of scenario. Thanks.
Today you guys announced a deal with Venom. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that, what went into it, why you went with those guys, and everything behind the deal.
Everything in life is about timing. And this Venom deal couldn't come at a more perfect time. In this weird place that we're in right now, in this entire world with sports and business and everything that's going on, these guys were the right people at the right time. It's so weird how this stuff works out. You see some of these monsters, and without saying any names, that are trying to pull back their deals with some of these sports leagues. This is what Venom does. This is the business that Venom is in. I just think that the timing on this thing couldn't have been any better. They're a great company. They've invested in this, and yeah, I love it. I'm really happy, and timing is everything.
I'm sure you don't want to get into specifics, but in the press release it said that the athletes of the UFC could expect a bump in pay through that. Is it a considerably larger deal than the Reebok deal?
Yeah, listen, I know that there was a lot of negativity surrounding the uniform thing, but it's been nothing but positive. These guys have all made money. Excuse me. They'll continue to make money, and yeah, it's a good thing for everybody.
And last one from me. I saw you did an interview saying John Jones wants Conor McGregor, Khabib money. He's never going to be satisfied. He's announced his retirement. When do you try and move on with the 205-pound division?
What's the question?
When do you move on from John Jones if he's not planning on fighting?
John Jones?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I haven't talked to John Jones. When John Jones is ready to fight, he can call. That's it. Until then, he doesn't have to fight if he doesn't want to.
But are you going to put it on an interim title fight if he's not going to fight or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know what we'll do yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll eventually do something. We'll get that figured out one way or another. And guys, you know we always get these things figured out.
Hi. I know this is all about the Fight Island, but there's a lot of back and forth between Paulo Costa and Adesanya. Do you have any updates about it?
Oh yeah, it's coming. I know that's a big one everybody's waiting for. It's coming.
They said that UFC offered July 11th and in August 252. Do you confirm that? And then they said no, or?
Did we confirm it yet?
No, I'm asking if they said that UFC offered this fight to happen tomorrow, and then UFC offered on August 15th, I believe, 252.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't. I'm fucking Fight Island right now. I'm not even thinking about that.
Thank you.
All right.
A few questions from Russia, if you don't mind. The first question is obviously the sad news coming lately, the death of Khabib's father, Abdulmanap. Could you give us your thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, it's terrible, and you know we feel horrible for Khabib. We know how much he loves his father and how close they were, and you know, just giving him time to mourn and heal and do whatever he needs to do. We're not bothering him at all right now. We're just leaving him alone. And
my second question is on Peter Yan, potentially second Russian champion. How important is it for you to have two champions representing one country?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a global sport, and whenever we get a guy who has a whole country behind him, it's always a good thing for everybody. So, whether it's Russia, Brazil, or anywhere.
Thank you.
Dana.
Thank you.
Here. You already talked about Costa and Adesanya. Is it true that is the idea of the UFC to make the Ultimate Fighter with both guys?
It's true that we're doing the Ultimate Fighter, and it's true that Paulo Costa wants to do the Ultimate Fighter really bad. We've been working on pulling Fight Island off and getting this thing together. So I don't know the timing on any of that yet or who the coaches will be. But if you look at all of our divisions and how stacked everything is right now, and you know, a lot of champions fighting number one contenders, there are a lot of cool options out there for coaches. But obviously those two would be amazing if we could make that happen.
And if you could talk a little bit about the moment of Brazil in the UFC, because July is a special month. We had Burns, we'll have Jose Aldo, we have Davison, and Brazil is a huge market for the UFC. How do you see this month for Brazil? Because things can be a lot bigger out there if everything go well for our Brazilians, you know.
There's a lot of Brazilians on the Fight Island card, over 20. What do you think this moment means for Brazil?
Listen, Brazil has always and will always be one of the hottest markets in the world for talent and for mixed martial arts. You know, Brazilians have been coming out of Brazil and doing well here for a very long time, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Dana, the Abu Dhabi people did an interview yesterday. They were talking about having conversation with the UFC about doing events here again in September. Is there anything in the UFC plans?
Abu Dhabi talked about potentially having us come back here in September, you said?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. So these guys have been our partners for over 10 years. We've been doing business with these guys for over a decade. The way that the Fertitta brothers were built is they would never even give up a tiny piece of the UFC while we had it. The reason we did the deal with Abu Dhabi is because Abu Dhabi adds value. These guys actually add a lot of value. You know, these guys are really smart. Look at the way they do things. Who does shit like this? I seriously think when you talk about hospitality, nobody's better than Abu Dhabi. These guys are incredible. We're going to be doing a lot of things over here. I'm looking at houses here. I'm buying a house or a condo or something. I'm looking this weekend while we're here. We're going to be doing a lot of things with Abu Dhabi, and we're probably going to be doing things with these guys for the rest of my career. So, yes, that was a long-winded yes. This place is amazing, and we will be doing business here for a long time.
Last one with Scott.
Yep.
The tourism director yesterday said that nothing had been confirmed for September, and I know there's been talks about Khabib or fights being here during the month of September, but nothing's been confirmed yet.
Yep. Well, like I just told that guy, we're not messing with Khabib right now. We're leaving Khabib alone. You know, Khabib needs time. Khabib's going to need time to get his head straight and figure out, you know, what's next for him, you know? So we're just going to leave him alone for a little while. We'll get it figured out.
But do you see September being Fight Island time again?
Yeah, September, October. Yeah. Listen, guys, they just shut down Las Vegas again. All the bars just got shut down again, like today. We're like back on phase 1. California shut some stuff. I don't see anytime soon where we're going to be flying people in from all over the world to the United States. You know, we're gonna be here easily go into next year, easily into next year. My son was supposed to report to USD football in July. They just told him they're not playing now till spring. So spring of next year. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. That's why I'm buying a house. I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time here.
Can we come see it?
What's that? Yeah. I'll show it to you guys when I find one.
I think that's it.
Cool? Thank you, guys.